Ah, ah. Hello, dear friends, viewers and trolls who's gonna be blocked. Today is 7.6.2022 or June 7th, 2022. And this is answer to all of those people who ask me, why don't you get a job? Why don't I work? So I'll start from first, physical sensation. Even when I think about work, meaning working for somebody else, I have this grip stone sharp object in my solar plexus. Then the whole sensation spreads in chest, then arms, then a head. And when it comes to head, I already know that I have a panic attack because then I have flashbacks.
But that re-experiencing, it's a mental re-experiencing, but some people will literally describe like they feel like their body is in it again. They feel like they're being held back, and I'll even see that in their posture, like they're back, like they're being held. You know, what was done to them was being done to them. And so it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating.
And this isn't a conscious choice. This
No.
is a subconscious way to cope.
Right. I mean, trauma chops up the brain a bit, right?
Chops
You know,
up the brain,
it
yeah.
really, the brain is amazing in how it tries to protect itself, but there's more and more interesting work on how the brain isn't the only place that holds memory. Our bodies hold memory too. And a lot of this, you know, interesting work that's coming out on trauma is really understanding how our bodies hold this too. People feel this physically all over their body. And so we can't underestimate that. It's very easy. I mean, listen, I'm all about the penthouse suite here,
Yeah, right.
but it's all happening around the body.
Of different mobbings and dramas happening, toxic guys in the Sarasat school, Simon and others. Then, of course, things which been happening in Holland. Then I have Masni screaming at my face in the 1990s, Svinjo jedna, govno jedno. Then, you know, I have all these shitty experiences connected with work in my life, and every single one was stress. Every single place where I worked was basically toxic shit. So that leads me to mobbing, which was absolutely always happening in every place of work, which leads me to golden rule in my life, not your life, which is whenever a person of the higher consciousness is in the hierarchy subordinated to the person or people of the lower consciousness, mobbing is guaranteed. So let me put it very simply. Wherever I walk, love it or hate it, I am the person with a higher level of consciousness. I didn't say IQ, I didn't say beauty, I didn't say 5 elements of capital, land, buildings, machines, people, and money. I said consciousness. So wherever I walk in, the NPCs around me immediately sense me, as I sense them, and the toxic game starts. So my question to you is, why me, as somebody with the empathy and the higher level of consciousness, why I don't need to torture people of the lower consciousness? Why I don't have this need, and why they have this need? So it's a question. Let's leave it open for now. But what is happening is always happening. You know, mobbing in stages. First stage is you know, giving some assignments which take lots of time and which are totally irrelevant. Lope, Junge, Lope, do something.
Zometeen al kuchend in zijn auto zit, dan komt dat waarschijnlijk door al stof dat los is gekomen uit zijn speakers.
And you know, there is nothing to do in a factory, so you have to sweep the floor you already swept, for example. Second is calling names. Then after that is insulting in your face, and after that is physical assault. So this is how the mobbing typically goes. So yeah, I had enough of it. I've been like forcing myself in my 30s to be part of working culture, always trying to push myself like in a line of being a tour guide. And this is when I start to notice and other people that some weird stuff are happening in my life, but this is now entering into targeted individual phase. So this is when I still had some energy left to fight. And after all this shit, I simply figure out golden rule. And golden rule is, when it comes to absolutely every job in my life, for speaking from the point of view of money, I'm gonna spend more money to get that job and to relocate. And if you guys worked in your life, you know that you need to spend some money in order to get to the job, especially if you're like from a shitty part of Europe, you have to go somewhere to actually work. And then I'm not gonna be there more than, let's say, month and a half, two tops. And then I didn't even manage to retreat my investment. I'm already fucked. So I lost money, which is the most precious thing. I lost my energy, which can be replenished, but trauma stay. And like, honestly, what's the point? Another good experience, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically it. I do understand that there are people who simply never had experience of mobbing at a place of work, which there are people who simply click very well with the crowd, and that these people simply do not and did not have this kind of experiences in life. But the life of TI or a soul guy is very different than experience of NPC. And so that's why I'm like very skeptical when I hear, I'm a TI, but I have shitloads of money and property and privileges and everything flies to me. Are you really a TI, or you wanna feel like a victim? Because love it or hate it, victimhood is something you need to deserve. In my opinion, all these fuckers around me, they are soulless, organic portals. If some people, that I believe before in Pareto principle, 80% organic portals, 20% us souls. I'm not really sure about that. I think I gave them way too much credit. I think maybe at the best they're like maybe 10% of soul people, and most of the soul people are basically flying monkeys of the system, not really conscious what's going on. So all these NPCs around, they are basically extensions of the metaphysical evil, and this is one very big test for us not to go crazy and take the blows with dignity. And why don't I work? I just don't fit in. I don't know how to fake, really. I don't know how to lie. I don't know how to drink beer. I don't know how to perfectly laugh on boss's jokes, and and nod on every bullshit he's saying. And it goes like in so many different activities. For example, being public person on the YouTube is kind of work as well, because people who donate money are people who typically, not always, but typically gonna be the people who gonna of course trying to engage me in conversations, and of course try to get more and more of the time. And then we're gonna have this I call it Vražji krug, devil circle of insanity. If person is a Q follower, he's gonna try to recruit me into that thing. If person is a believer in the Tartaria and the mud flood which happened in the mid-19th century, oh my god, then that person gonna try to recruit me in that story. And this is another weird element is all human systems and interactions, they're always quid pro quo. You always have to give something in order to get something. And I don't really know how to lie. uh, I know very well when a bullshit starts, what I call it odd beliefs, which is the beginning of the schizophrenia. Schizophrenia literally begins with odd beliefs. Like you believe that a black cat crossing a road in front of you is a bad luck. Well, that's a little bit crazy, but what's next? Are you one? the higher level of schizophrenia is like what, chasing the cat with something, with a torch, in order to kill her, because obviously it brought you bad luck. So when people start with this kind of odd beliefs and start to export that on me, Tartaria, Q movement, Donald Trump, reincarnation of Jesus Christ, and then donate money, I don't know, like, it doesn't really work with me. I tell always what I think, then I lose a sponsor. System needs crazy guys, functioning crazy guys. You understand me? What I call the perfect tour guide in Croatia is little tigrica. So what is little tigrica? Little tigrica is a woman in her 40s and 50s. She has 1 meter 60. She learned deutsche Sprache, weil sie in Deutschland wie Kellnerin gearbeitet hat, and she speaks some German. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. No, that is very important. And she's always dressed in a cheetah. You know the cheetah? Yeah. So she is intelligent enough, functioning enough to deal with the voucher, with the paperwork, and to explain, basics left and right. Auf linkse Seite, Heilige Maria Kirche, auf der rechte Seite, Oliven, gehen wir weiter. You understand me? And but on the other hand, she is so soulless and so simple that she's never gonna trigger any psychopath. And yeah, in order to succeed in life, you have to be something like that. You have to be female, 1 meter 60, IQ not lower than 70, not more than 80, because more than 80 it's already dangerously smart. And basic English, basic German, depending on what market you're hitting. And psychopaths, they're not gonna hate you, because of course they're gonna look down on you. Neuronormal, not gonna make problems. If there is some problem, you know what to do. All solved. You understand me? So yeah, and I'm not that. Thank you for watching. I'm speaking about work. Definition of work is some activity in order to gain something. So I'm studying Latin. I'm not gonna tell you the motives, but I simply study Latin from this book. And look who find the spot next to me. Yeah, fuck, I really love kids. Stay. Hello, dear friends, viewers, and trolls who's gonna be blocked. Today is the June 20th, 2022. Avoidant Personality Disorder. One of the hardest videos I have to make, because many of my enemies are also watching this, and now I really need to open myself and to say what's my biggest problem, and this is Avoidant Personality Disorder. In my previous video, which is still not published, is why I cannot work, and this is the continuum of that video. So in short, I have self-diagnosed Avoidant Personality Disorder, and I'm just gonna start. This kind of disorder has maybe maximum up to 6% of population, about 1.5% males and 2.5% females, and then that's 5. But this is how it says in the in my notes I wrote some time ago in my old diary. Like a couple of years ago. So what are the symptoms? Social inhibition, social inhibition, feelings of inadequacy, hypersensitivity to negative evaluation, anxiety about saying or doing the wrong things, especially if you've been like seriously tortured as a kid, need to be well liked, kind of, just to avoid beating, avoid avoid situations due to fear of rejection. Of course, when you're constantly rejected, you start avoiding situations where you're going to be rejected. Avoiding intimate relationships or showing initiative and feelings. Of course, what else? Avoiding social situations or events. Yes, absolutely feel totally uncomfortable among them. Finally, avoiding interactions in work situations or turning down positions, absolutely, because every single one plus time equals mobbing. Well, now we're coming to the what caused it, right? And the golden rule is when a person of higher consciousness is in the hierarchy subordinated to the person or people of the lower consciousness, torture or mobbing is guaranteed. Avoiding conflict, people pleaser, of course, because in this hierarchy I'm at the bottom, therefore any formal relationship like a work will lead to conflict, basically bullying. Low self-esteem, in my case more like need to avoid problems. Lack of assertiveness, again, check out where I'm at the hierarchy, maybe one rent away from homelessness. Extreme self-consciousness. It's interesting that this kind of people have extreme self-consciousness, so they have like an interesting level of consciousness. Maybe that's exactly why they ended up in this situation. Viewing on self or socially inept or inferior, I think that was in my teens, so I think this is like in a lower level of understanding what's happening to you. If Matrix put me in this situation, that doesn't mean that I'm accepting it. However, hits are coming from the Matrix anyway. Lack of trust in others. What kind of trust in others can you have apart from non-trust in others? Self-isolation. Failures to initiate social contact. Why would I initiate social contact? Lack of pleasure in activities, if they're public, absolutely. Avoiding making decisions. What's the point of making decisions? Every single one gonna be stopped and sabotaged. Vigilant for signs of disapproval or rejection, which are like 100%. Easily hurt by criticism or rejection. Yeah, if it's coming like in a group mobbing, people approaching with bricks and crowbars to fuck you up like a year ago. Oh, I didn't much talk about that. No close friends. Yeah. I'm willing to take risk or try new things. Yes, absolutely. Every single one ended up in catastrophe. Misinterpreting neutral situations or perspective. This is quite possible because when you have like a constantly negative expectations from life, even when something is neutral, you're like seeing it. Yeah, I don't think these guys like me. That's how it is. As I said in my previous video, the whole thing is coming from both sides. So yeah, it could be like more things could be said, but basically, if person has this kind of disorder, it has very bad chances for a good life. Because if you become self-isolated, next thing is the poverty. So the whole purpose of this channel was about talking about targeted individuals, somebody who's being blacklisted, smeared, gang stalked, somebody who was hit by the street theaters, somebody who was hit by the microwaves, also astral dreamscape demonic attacks as well. But this part is about, how does that affect you, and how does that affect you. In my case, slowly, not really suddenly. I was actually quite extroverted kid when I was in a junior high, and I was like very popular kid in a high school. Had a beautiful girlfriend, lots of friends, going out. People been inviting me for a parties, always out in a club, Palach or somewhere else. So, but when I started to think in my 20s, slowly, weird things started to happen, and that basically led to this, which is avoidant personality disorder, and that also concludes why I can't work. And my beginning of my previous video, even when I just think about the work, I gonna have like stone in my solar plexus, then the whole panic gonna spread all over my chest, my forehead. I gonna have like shitloads of flashbacks coming one after another, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. This is how it feels like, and this is what it is. However, this is the prolonged PTSD, not the classic one which came into public consciousness from the war. You can have similar symptoms if you had like a decades of unpleasant situations, while in a war that can happen within like a couple of months. Imagine those poor people who are now in Donbass in Ukraine, on either side, getting shelled by 150, 250, 5 millimeter grenades, and never know which one gonna fuck you up. So this is like what I was going through, on potentia, I mean. But this is like, I think you got it, because folks which are watching me get these things, and my folks also have a higher level of consciousness as well per average. So I'm preaching to the choir, as I'm always preaching, but this time I'm opening myself and basically saying what happened, and I'm actually aware of it, and I'm aware of the thing that there are good people out there, and stuff like that. However, I've been in this game for a very long time, maybe too long time, in order A, to be naive, and B, not to be damaged. So this is the thing, what is happening. I know that there are good people, but I also know that minds of good people also get screwed up, what I call the recalibration. When somebody wants to help you out, magic is going to work on that mind, and it's going to be reprogrammed. And which, this also leads me to another thing. I'm having issues with suicidal impulses, which are not mine. And it's like really entering the phase when I'm basically routinely and actively moving away like a noose from my head. So if I could like visualize myself, which would be like one sphere of energy, and then in that sphere of energy there is like this intrusive thought coming and forcing the whole planning for the suicide, for the hanging, and I'm like immediately moving it out and moving it out and moving it out. And I knew, had I been like mentally weaker, or maybe abusing substances and stuff like that, you wouldn't be watching this video. I would be one of those many quiet people which simply committed suicide, and people who knew them would say, oh, he was a little bit, he was shy, he was introvert, but he was nice guy. Nothing was giving a sign that he's gonna commit suicide. Deep perspectives of the outsiders, right? Same as they go for the psychopaths, somebody who done something horrible to other people. They say, oh, he was such a nice guy, he was light of the party, he would always say hello on the street. Who gives a shit what they say? You don't know what's another person if you don't read a book of that person, autobiography, life, or watching this extremely open YouTube channel. I had feeling that I said it all. I'm gonna finish for now. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, and there is a cat there. Dici? Ma dici ti? Cat like felt that I'm finishing filming and just came here. Fairly sparus bine. Non murmurat. Felix pectit. Felis non murmurat. Kur non murmurat Felis? Felis parvus. Okay, that's it. That's it. Bye bye YouTube.